with an update on potential WrestleMania 40 appearances and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Touching on plans for Damian Priest to cash in his Money in the Bank contract for a world title match, Judgment Day stablemate Rhea Ripley said this on Impulsive. "I don't know, we're still waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect time. All the stars have to align, you know. I would watch out if I were you. I don't know, they're all up for grabs, fam. They're all up for grabs. You never know." Fan footage revealed that during the entrance of Seth Rollins on Raw, Drew McIntyre flashed Pat McAfee. Speaking about being offered a tryout for WWE NXT North American Champion, Oba Femi told Jim Barcelone, "The world of track and field and the world of WWE, the only thing they have in common is being sports. That's it. They are very different from one another. My path in WWE was kind of a fresh start for me for my athletic career. When I put down the shot put, I put it down for good. As far as me getting involved, I was messaged by one of the NXT recruiters at the time, and they asked me, 'Would you like to come and do a tryout in Vegas?' I said, yes, I would. At first, I thought it was fake. I did my research and double-checked and was like, oh, this is real. I did the tryout. I got a contract. The only problem was I had to go back and finish school. I wasn't done with college yet. The NIL program was a platform they used to keep in touch with me for the year I was finishing school. Just at the back end, it could still be there and show me that the contract was still waiting for me." In a video, a long line for Becky Lynch's book signing can be seen.
Yeah. Like when she hates my parents and so bullshit.
Wait, what's the cost of the water?
And then Shante is now tag teaming with Cedric.
I want to see Pink actually in October.
What's up, the live?
Going over how WWE has made improvements to their production, Sami Zayn noted on Yo Josh Martinez, "You can actually see it in the production and some of the camera shots and all these things that we're doing. I think they're trying to really get outside the box lately and really let the people who are very, very talented," and I'm talking about behind the scenes, "that's why they work here." I mean, you can say whatever you want about WWE, but the people that work here are the best in the world at what they do in front of the camera and behind the camera. I sometimes walk around backstage and I'm just looking at the production like, how do they do this every week? They go to any arena in the world and take miles and miles and miles of wire and steel and everything, and they construct these incredible sets and they just make it so seamless. It's so impressive. If you actually stop and think about it, it's mind-blowing. So we have some very talented people in production, inside the truck, running cameras. I mean, really just the top of the top. Now I think they're just getting a little bit more room to explore because the box is kind of opened up a little bit. It's just things under Vince for all those years. I think it was just like, we found ourselves in a box because you find, but this is natural. When you find out what works, you just do more of it, and then you've accidentally created created a little box for yourself, like these really narrow parameters, but it's because of success. Success starts to invariably discard what doesn't work and keep what does work. So that's why you end up with these rigid sort of boxes sometimes. Well, now I think that box is opened up a little bit and you're seeing it in the little things, and part of that is a new approach to interviews with different styles and things like that. Some of it is a little bit more sports oriented. Following Sami Zayn's gauntlet match victory for an Intercontinental title shot at WrestleMania 40, fans were up in arms over Chad Gable losing the bout. Booker T had this to say about Sami's reaction on his Hall of Fame podcast. He was so literally upset about the online heat that he got from the fans. He's like, man, I thought the fans loved me. And then next thing you know, I see all this stuff. I say, man, you can't listen to that white noise. You got to think about how great that match was, and you're going to look back on it one day and say, man, that was some really good work that I did. But he still, like I said, was feeling that heat. He let someone down just because the fans didn't think the match was as good as, I thought it was. In regards to Booker's comments, Sami said this to Josh Martinez. Well, I was a little surprised to read that because I basically bumped into Booker T on the plane and we were sitting next to each other, so we were just talking, so it was pretty weird to see it on the internet. But all this to say, no, I was very happy with the performance because he was talking about the performance itself, the match itself, and I was like, yeah, I was very pleased with the match. It's just unfortunate that it felt like the reaction to the win itself was a little split, if not a little more skewed towards Chad, even because we did such a great job of building Chad, and he's done a great job of building himself. When you're a good guy or whatever, or a bad guy, and you know where you're headed, you just want the full investment. You want the full scope of audience emotional investment, and I felt like this was an interesting story because it split the emotional investment in two. So you're only getting 50% of the pie, right? So that's just an interesting dynamic. It is interesting because it makes it more compelling. But for sure, as a guy whose job is to rally the entire audience behind him, which is what I feel like my job sometimes is, as a good guy, I was a little let down that I felt like I couldn't get the entire audience to rally behind me. At least that's not even entirely true. During the match itself, it feels like they're very happy and invested in the whole thing, but the online backlash, or the day after, just with people feeling a little disappointed for Chad, which is very understandable, just was a little deflating, But again, this was just something I was kind of articulating to him as just kind of shooting the breeze on the plane. So I think maybe once it gets out online, it seems like a bigger deal than it is, but that's all I was articulating to him. Recently, WWE Backstage correspondent Jackie Redmond took Jey Uso to his first NHL game.
Guess what we're doing? We're in Chicago. We're about to take in the Blackhawks and the Flames with Jey Uso. Get his first hockey game ever.
We lit. We lit, Blackhawks. Hey, hold on, look.
Oh, wait. We got it. Gifted a jersey already. I didn't even get gifted a jersey. Covering the league for 10 years.
I have a deep dish pizza in Chicago. I got a deep dish pizza.
Mentioning details on why Ridge Holland announced he would be stepping away from NXT indefinitely, it was said that NXT sources have confirmed to Corey Brennan of Fightful Select that this is part of Holland's current storyline and is not an official retirement. The story has been one that Holland has been motivated to do, with the former brawling brute being receptive to suggestions. Giving an update on his dog, former WWE star Batista posted this to Instagram: "My baby boy all done with chemo." As CM Punk made a reference to Vince McMahon on Monday Night Raw, PW Insider said that there was a hush backstage when CM Punk made allusions to Vince McMahon making Drew McIntyre the chosen one, but once they got past that moment, there was no fallout for the reference. When it comes to Hulk Hogan making an appearance at WrestleMania 40, PW Insider reported that there's been talk over the last week that WWE is working on having Hulk Hogan involved in some fashion during WrestleMania 40 week. No word yet what the role might be or in what capacity. Staying on the topic of WWE legends appearing at Mania, Ringside News wrote that PW Insider reports that WWE is currently in talks to involve Stone Cold Steve Austin in some capacity during WrestleMania 40 weekend. While the specifics of Austin's involvement remain undisclosed, discussions are underway, leaving fans eagerly anticipating his potential role at the event. Going over a match that had its time cut on Monday Night Raw, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said the Ivy Nile and Candice LeRae match was originally listed for one segment and ended up going less than 2.5 minutes. Announcing a role for The Undertaker at WrestleMania 40, WWE wrote on X, Undertaker is coming to WWE World. Tickets to Meet the Dead Man go on sale today at 12 p.m. Eastern. Talking about her relationship with AEW star Buddy Matthews, Rhea Ripley said this on Impulsive. He's been in WWE, he's been wrestling for over 10 years, I think maybe over 15 years. He's been wrestling for a long time. He knows that when he was in WWE, he hit a peak there. Then over in AEW, he's doing well. It's slowly growing. The House of Black is slowly growing and getting more steam. But he also knows that at the end of the day, the platform that I'm on, this might make a lot of people mad, but it's obviously higher. I feel like he doesn't get threatened by that. And he says he doesn't either. I take his word. I trust him. I believe him. He's very comfortable in what he's doing and who I am. He also loves to help me along the way and help me grow, which is what a relationship should be. It's a team, right? Yeah. Asked if he would have had a career in mixed martial arts if it had today's pay scale, Goldberg told Nothing Left Unsaid podcast, 100,000%, no question. Back in the day, the guys who were fighting at UFC were training at my gym. I owned a gym after Main Event Fitness called Obaki Fight School in Atlanta. It was the largest MMA gym in North America. Those guys were training at my gym. Randy Couture, Kevin Randleman, Mark Coleman. I got to be good friends with them and we were talking about what they were making as I was trying to decide what I was going to do. That option was completely off the table once I heard they were making $2,000 to $3,000 or $5,000 a fight. Absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, nowadays, it's changed exponentially. I would have probably chosen mixed martial arts if the pay scale was where it is now. Touching on rumors that an NWA pay-per-view spot where it was insinuated that cocaine was used had affected a TV deal with the CW network, WWC Puerto Rico television champion Brian Idol said this to Steve Fall of Wrestling News. I can 110% tell you, no matter what anyone else says, and I'm totally okay saying this, it had nothing to do with anything. So other than someone saying this spot with James Mitchell was in bad taste, okay, but if you're like, okay, they did this and then CW said, No, we're never doing this because of this. No, CW wasn't even aware of it. You could email it to them 1,000 times. They don't care. They got worse stuff going on. You go click the app and go watch some of those shows. There's plenty of drug use and simulated drug use in those shows and whatever. I gotta back that up because I don't want to misquote myself. I don't really watch all the shows on there, but I'm going to take a gamble and guess that of the billion shows that are on that app, there's simulated drug use and whatever else. So they're on the app, and I'm sure on the network channel, they have the same. It's just society, right? There's movies. People do drugs in movies. They show it. Okay, maybe now I'm speaking out of pocket because I'm talking about somebody else's stuff, so whatever. But what I can speak about is our own stuff. It didn't affect anything. The James Mitchell cocaine spot did not cost a TV deal for the NWA. It had nothing to do with anything. There was no discipline handed down. No one cared. Talking about Seth Rollins and his involvement with The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Becky Lynch told USA Today, "No, probably not," replied Becky when asked if she would involve herself in Seth's feud with The Rock. "The tricky part is that me and The Rock are friends. Whenever Seth has feuds, I often echo his sentiment to add to them. In a marriage, obviously, you have to be a team. You have to be on the same side of things. And I always am. He's always number one to me, but it becomes complicated when it's against people that you have your own friendships and bonds with. However, in terms of just our characters, I think our heel characters probably would have meshed a bit better than our babyface ones." Commenting on the allegations against Vince McMahon, Becky Lynch said this to the MMA Hour. "Those allegations are horrendous, and it's truly difficult to hear because that's not been my experience. He was incredibly supportive of me. Vince possessed a unique brilliance, though he wasn't always the easiest to work with. Nonetheless, he led an exceptionally remarkable life building what he did. I enjoyed learning from him, conversing with him, and he's responsible for everything in my life through WWE. We've had our ups and downs, but personally, he treated me well and with respect, and I felt I earned his respect. Then hearing this other narrative, it's not the person I know, and that's really tough, especially as a woman in this industry striving for equality. It's incredibly challenging to hear about these allegations when my interactions have been different, and I detest that anyone has undergone such experiences. The thought that anyone has experienced that is distressing, especially at the hands of someone who has been genuinely kind to me throughout my career. It's like dealing with two different individuals. He's been like a grandfather figure to me. I recall sharing news of my pregnancy with him and the warmth he extended. It's disconcerting to juxtapose those memories with the other side of the narrative. It's truly distressing to reconcile these contrasting aspects. Seemingly revealing that he is no longer with TNA Wrestling following reports of his contract with the company expiring, Alex Shelley wrote on X, "While things change, I want to express this. Try to leave things better off than when you found them. Everyone is someone. Treat them with respect, show up enthused, do your best, and help others whenever possible. I hope this isn't too live, laugh, love, wall art cringe." Asked about his late son, Bray Wyatt, not being inducted into the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame, Mike Rotunda told Sportskeeda's Wrestle Binge, "With Wyndham passing, I thought they were gonna immediately put Wyndham into the Hall of Fame, which he will be in at some point. I think WWE reassessed stuff and thought it was too soon to go there with our family and the reactions and the stress on us. We got a call from WWE and they said Hunter wants to do a Zoom Zoom call. We were thinking they were going to tell us what was going to happen at WrestleMania, and Hunter said, "You guys are going to get inducted. You and Barry were a part of the first WrestleMania show. It's very flattering, obviously, and actually less stressful on us because of all the stuff that we had to go through with Wyndham passing. Just the mental capacity of it." Going over who was behind the Rock and Cody Rhodes segments on Raw, Ringside News wrote on X, "The conclusion of Raw this previous Monday received widespread acclaim, with virtually everyone impressed with its execution. According to a source within WWE, Ringside News has verified that Triple H, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes were instrumental in crafting the finale of the March 25th Raw episode." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.